Hi again, everyone. Welcome to the Chad Harberts Show. I'm glad to be back hosting it for the first time in a few weeks, as I've been pretty busy with postseason softball and baseball. But we've had some pinch hitters the last couple weeks. They've done a great job with the show. And we always talk with the people who have the most influence in high school sports in Iowa, whether it be athletes or coaches or administrators, union officials, referees. We always try to talk to these people that are making high school sports so great in our state. And a lot of times I know the guests previously. About half the time I don't know the guests. I've never met them until I do the interview with them. Today is different. Not only do I know that the two guests we're having on, I know their entire family. I've met every single member of the family. And if you know me, I'm unabashedly a Grundy Center supporter. I graduated from Grundy Center High School. I got my Spartan t-shirt on today, in fact. And the last 6 or 7 years, Grundy Center has become one of the elite small class programs in the entire state in multiple sports, boys and girls. Grundy Center is going through its golden age of athletics right now. And this is a program that started in 1896. So Grundy Center has been around for a while, but this has been the best 6 or 7 year run in the history of Grundy Center. And a lot of people have been involved in it, but one guy has been in the epicenter of all of it. And I'm very happy to have them on today. Judd Jirovsky and his father, Jason Jirovsky. Hi, guys.
Hello. Hello. Good morning.
This is a little different because we're on this Google Meet, but we live about 10 blocks apart here in Grundy Center. But I'm glad to have you guys on, first of all. I've talked with both of you dozens of times, generally after games. I've met Tate at a breakfast one time. Obviously, I see Trinity, and I've refereed Gus's games on the football field. I know your mom. So I know the whole family, so it's a little different for me here. But let's just start with Judd. Let's start with this. Your high school career just ended the last couple weeks. Sub-state baseball, the Shrine Bowl. You don't take very many breaks. You go from sport to sport. You work. Have you had a chance to just sit and reflect on your high school career coming to a close?
Yeah, this has kind of been my first free stretch in a while. Been a couple of days off from the Shrine Bowl. Had a really fun week there, but I've had a little time to reflect, a little bit of downtime, and things keep moving. I got golf tournaments and things upcoming still, but yeah, I had a little time to reflect and grateful for it all for sure.
Jason, I want you to take me way back because I've heard these various stories. I've heard stories of Judd and Tate, your older son, playing catch in the front yard, but with a ball and a bat, hitting line drives back and forth to one another. Brett Williams, the baseball coach at Cedar Falls, told me a story just last week about a youth baseball team that Judd and Pete Lebo occasionally played on. And he said, whenever those two guys showed up, we knew we were going to win. So there's these legends out there from a young Judd, a young Tate. Take me back to when you knew that these guys, especially the one sitting next to you, were going to be special athletes.
Yeah, it didn't take long. Both of them were pretty skilled early developmentally. And especially that was the case with Judd. He walked at 9 months. He was close in Tate to age. They're only 18 months apart, and he was consistently having to keep up with Tate. And I think that was a part of it as well. And so as soon as Tate was ready to play catch, it's what Judd had to do in order to keep up. And Tate pulled him along in that way. But certainly Judd was born with some unique gifts, and that was pretty evident pretty early. I talked about how early he walked, but I like to tell this story about a time when we were playing catch in the backyard of my mom's place in Omaha. Judd was like 2.5 years old. We're in the backyard and I'm throwing him the baseball. He found a bat to hit with, and the bat's just about as big as he is. And he's just absolutely crushing the ball in the backyard at grandma's place. It's nice outside. Everybody's outside in their backyard, and neighbors are coming over from other houses going, oh my goodness, how old is this kid? And it's just stories like that. I had the opportunity to coach them in multiple sports, and just all the sports that I coached them in: basketball, certainly baseball, soccer. Judd didn't get a chance to play high school soccer, but I always tell people his best sport might have been soccer. And they were just always very talented, and it's been a pleasure to watch them grow and continue their athletic careers on into college.
And that's the kind of a common theme of truly great athletes is they didn't get great in high school. They didn't get great guys. They were great as little kids. And so now you have these two boys that you have to develop and you have to nurture, but you also don't want to be that parent that is saying, this kid's going to the pros, I've got to get him there. So how do you let boys be boys, but also understand what special boys you have on your hands?
Yeah, I think that's one of the things I'd give Holly and I credit about is we always tried to keep things in perspective. We knew they were talented, but did we ever think that they were Division I athletes or push them to be that way? No, not necessarily. We let them develop. We let them try to be kids. We just tried to give them as much opportunity as possible and let them take their talents as far as they were going to. And so Tate now being at Central and playing baseball and football there, it's been a fantastic experience for him. And we're looking forward to seeing what Judd can do at Stanford. Obviously, he had some tough choices to make and chose golf. We're really excited about that for him. But yeah, we've always just tried to keep perspective, give all our kids the best opportunities we can, support them as much as possible, encourage them, encourage their teammates and their classmates, and then see where it goes and just try to not have unrealistic expectations along the way.
Judd, Michael Jordan has talked about just trying to compete against his older brother. Reggie Miller talked about trying to compete against his very talented older sister. You're trying to compete with your older brother. How did that make you a better athlete?
I think just like we talked about from a young age, having someone to look up to, compete against. Tate was also really skilled and definitely didn't want to wait for his little brother to learn how to play catch or things like that. So it's a forced process or just something that I had to learn to do really fast. But I'm super grateful for his leadership in my life, the role model he was, setting the path of being a 5-sport athlete, participating in it all, and just pushing me every single day. I think that definitely benefited my career for sure.
I know you to be very humble. You don't like to brag. You don't like to make it about yourself, but we're going to unpack your high school career here a little bit. So I want you to brag a little bit and just talk to me about it. Let's start with football. 3 state titles, 1 semifinals appearance, 50-game win streak. I got to tell you, especially when it comes to football, in the last 2 years, I've been around the state on non-sports related things, and it's come up, hey, where are you from? I'm from Grundy Center. And the reply has been Judd Jirovsky. That's what they say back to me when I say I'm from Grundy Center. You've made Grundy Center known statewide. So let's start with football and just your favorite memories of football and your thoughts on the 3 state titles and the 50-game winning streak.
Yeah, it's been a heck of a ride in football. I think that we just developed such a great culture, and it's just a year after year expectation to go to the Dome and eventually the championship and hopefully win. I was part of the process just like everybody else. Didn't really play my freshman year at all, was a JV guy. Sat and waited my turn, was able to get some snaps at receiver my sophomore year, and then quarterback junior and senior year. But yeah, I think it's just part of the culture that we developed. Credit to all the coaches we've had, Coach Zajac and all of his help really set the standard and make it so easy for us kids. I think that it's just part of that expectation is a little bit of not wanting to disappoint the class before you. I know that us seniors still talk about we're the only team in 6 years or something not to play all 52 games of their high school career, even though some of those guys lost in the championship. We didn't get there. I think that we just try to push each other, and that was just the culture of success and the football team. And those were some of the most fun 4 years of my career for sure. The fall season, I'll forever remember the bus rides and some of the little things that don't seem so important at the time, but looking back, all those memories of singing on the way home or celebrating with the coaches and those conversations they're always what I'm going to remember.
And this was born out of a 3-year run of finishing as state runners-up, and that was heartbreaking. Coach Zajac had just gotten here, and suddenly a Grundy Center program that hadn't won state since '88 was in the state championship game. And 3 straight years of really talented kids, really talented athletes coming up a game short. What happened to flip it over and get to the 3 state titles?
And I just think the more times you can give yourself that opportunity, eventually you're going to be able to succeed. I think facing Britt West Hancock again, the team that we've played a couple of times before, we had a pretty good scout on them, and we're finally able to make a couple adjustments to get over the hump. I think that we just had a different level of confidence that year in the guys that we had, the senior leadership of that class, just being able to rally the guys and say, this is our year. We're done getting second. And then once we got over that hump, it was just such a confidence booster for the rest of the guys coming up. Obviously, that next year was Tate's senior year, and they had a really good class, and the class after that, and then our class. So I think the combination of having a really good scout and a good plan and finally being able to execute with the guys who have maybe watched it on the sidelines for a couple years, and then just having the right opportunity and executing.
Basketball, 3 straight state tournament appearances, though it came with some heartbreak. Probably a couple years there where you thought you had a run to the semifinals, the finals, lost in a layup your junior year at the buzzer. But getting the basketball program, which I remember going to state in '86 when I was a junior and how special it was back in the old Vets Auditorium. But getting the basketball team to state 3 consecutive years, how special was that?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun too. I think basketball is maybe a little more difficult, or has been for us throughout the years. Something that Coach Thorne kind of stepped in and said, we're looking to turn this around, looking to make a deeper run. I know my freshman year, we lost in the first or second round, I think, and it was disappointing coming after a long football season and our first state championship there. It was like, this is the expectation now, and that came up really short. I credit Coach Thorne, Coach Zinkula, Coach Rasmussen's been around for a little while. They were like, let us athletes loose. They knew who we had on the basketball team and said that we're going to up the standard in practice and expect to make it to state. And I think just like football finally winning state, just getting to state in basketball was getting over the hump type of thing. And then obviously it didn't go our way at state any of the 3 years really, but credit to Coach Thomas too for coming in after the coaching staff flipped a little bit and just making it such a fun last year, and still able to be super successful and down to business when we had to, but also super light, and just the youth aspect of that coaching staff was just so fun to be a part of.
Track and field, 2 state titles, 2 runners up, a third, a fourth, and the team probably would have won the team championship this year had there not been a disqualification in the prelims, because it was that close. And track and field, when I talk with you about track and field, it always kind of cracks me up a little bit, because 2 years in a row, I tried to interview you after the NICL golf meet and forgot you were already halfway to LeGrand or somewhere else to run in the NICL track meet. But state track, a sport that Grundy Center has excelled in for a number of years, has always produced some pretty good track athletes going way back to the 50s. Talk about your track and field success.
I think track was one of my latest liking of sports. I think it was kind of always the second of the spring dual sports for me, just having success early in golf. Probably one that my older brother Tate liked a little more. So it was kind of like he did golf for me and I did track for him almost a little bit. But by the end, track was right up there with my favorite sport, really. I think that's just a credit to having just such a great group of guys to be around every day. I just love competing with my friends out there, whether that's in a relay or just knowing that you're just trying to do your role within the lineup on a meet. Coach Conger, Coach Ross, and all their help, they do such a great job. And that's kind of why we just expect success there every year. We practice every day. We want to succeed at the highest of levels at state. And we've been fortunate enough to be able to do that for the last couple of years. Yeah, some unfortunate things happened to us this last year at state, but you can just tell the progress in the team still. And I think that all of us are super grateful to walk out of there with the team trophy, regardless of what happened. And just like I said, being able to do that with my friends, I love the sport of track.
I'm going to come back to golf in a second, but baseball, let's start off with dad's an assistant coach. So Jason, talk about coaching your sons, but also you're trying to win baseball games at Grundy Center. There's a father dynamic and there's a coach dynamic.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd had the opportunity to join the program 6 years ago when Tate was coming into the program. The assistant coaching position came open. I'd mentioned before that I had the opportunity to coach a lot of these guys from the second, third, fourth grade as they were getting involved in baseball through our rec program, and then eventually into some more involved club opportunities and higher level opportunities. And so it just made sense. Obviously, I know and have a really good relationship with Coach Brown. He was doing a phenomenal job stepping in and getting the program turned around. And then we knew we were going to be the beneficiaries of this same amazing elite run of athletes that benefited some of the other sports. And this group additionally had spent more time and effort in baseball than some of their predecessors as well. And so we knew we were set up for success. We wanted to take advantage of that and also give them the best opportunity to succeed through what we could bring as coaches. And so, yeah, I've loved doing that the last 6 years. It's been a very rewarding experience. We've had a lot of success. I think there's not actually great baseball records at Grundy Center overall historically, but I think this is a historic run of success that we've had had the opportunity to put together Coach and I's records here recently. We've won a lot of baseball games. The first year that I joined the program, we actually made it to the state tournament, which was a surprise. That was a great group there, made it at the 1A level to the state tournament. And then here these last couple of years, unfortunately, coming up a game short in the sub-state final. So a historic run of success for the baseball program, phenomenal group of kids to be around. Really had a lot of fun with Coach Brown and this year with Coach Gertis joining the staff. And yeah, it's been a great experience for me, something that I'll look back fondly on for a number of years for sure.
73-23 the last 4 years. Judd, you batted .559 this year, 9th in the entire state, 9-0 record, 100 strikeouts, 11th in the entire state. Last year, you won 10 games, which was, I believe, 5th in the state. I know the tournament alluded to the state tournament, but you put together individually just a fantastic baseball career, and even collectively as a team, winning 73 games over 4 years.
Yeah, baseball is a sport, like my dad mentioned, we really put our effort into in the middle, heading into junior high years almost. Credit to Coach Lebo and his dad, Grandpa Lebo, even really took us to all these club tournaments. We were just small town Grundy Center, but we took pride no matter who we were playing against. Really got together a great group of guys from a couple of different age groups and had a lot of fun together. I think that taking baseball that seriously and just getting that exposure at a young age really benefited us in our high school career, whether it was pitching that you would see or just all kinds of high-level experience. I'm really grateful for my dad to be a part of it with me in my high school career. Like I said, I had my older brother there too for the first couple of years. Had such a good time with all those guys every year. And baseball is a sport that's going on in the summertime, so you start to lose guys a little bit for jobs or just other types of fun. But credit to the guys that stuck it out with us, and we had a heck of a run.
And even though the baseball team did not make it to state, it's been my favorite thing to see because of this entire dynamic where I played for Pete's grandpa, for Phil Lebo. When I played baseball here, we were the number 1 team in the state in '87. We fell short of the state tournament as well, losing to Newman. But to see what you guys have done in the baseball program and to see that Grandpa Lebo, that Phil Lebo's still there watching the games, to see what you've done, to see what Pete's doing on the team, I think that's all been fantastic. And then the other thing was, we talk about fathers and sons, and there's always a good memory of the first time you take your son to a major league game. And I took my son to an Angels game when he was 6 years old. We were living in Las Vegas. You took your son to play in a major league stadium. You guys played in Target Field this year. As a coach and as a dad, what was that experience like?
It was fantastic. And actually, back to Coach Lebo, Andy Lebo deserves a lot of credit for helping get that set up and coming up with the idea in the off season, and then putting together making the arrangements with Waterloo Columbus Catholic and them being a part of it. Very thankful for that. Truthfully, I'll admit that I was undervaluing the experience going into it. You're in the middle of a baseball season. It's busy. You've got a 4 or 5 game week. I was a little bit skeptical, honestly. I thought, oh my goodness, why are we driving to Minneapolis? We got to get back. We got to play the next day. It's tough enough the way that it is. And all that changed when I saw the experience through the kids' eyes. The bus ride there, the bus ride home, once we stepped on the field, even the game beforehand, it was unlike anything we had been a part of or I had been a part of. And so thankful for that experience. So thankful to be able to see it through the kids' eyes like I did. When we stepped on the field, I could just almost hear this collective gasp from the players. It's overwhelming to see the stadium from that perspective. And then the game itself was great. Judd started us off and hit a triple to the fence, hit a ball as hard as I've ever seen him hit. And we're just rolling from there. And so to get that experience, the experience for the kids, and then to win the ball game, phenomenal. And like Judd had mentioned before, we've taken a lot of memories from this sport. Certainly that one's right at the top.
Judd, you catch the final out. We've got the great video of you scooping the dirt up off the infield. Just your thoughts on experience.
Yeah, I was similar to my dad. Honestly, it was just such a busy week that this is a little bit of a break. But I think that's exactly what the team needed, really, to be able to play long weeks of baseball with 4 or 5 games. It's just tough. It seems like wash, rinse, repeat every single day. But to be able to take that long bus ride and enjoy some time with the team even outside of watching the MLB game and playing our own game, was just so fun, so relaxing. And obviously to win the game, yeah, it was just a cherry on top. Tried to be grateful for it all and take every bit of that memory. That's why I ended up taking some of the field home with me. But yeah, super glad that the school and everyone who helped organize and put that together. And I wish that other teams in the future can do that.
Before I get to golf, there was a rumor this spring that you might go out for soccer too and play 3 sports in the spring. I was even told that maybe you went to 1 practice. Is any of that true?
Yeah, I was just trying to see if it was a possibility or not. Unfortunately, kind of like try sporting in the school would definitely be a little tough, and was kind of, I wouldn't say shut down, but was kind of just reality check a little bit, like maybe that's not possible. So I really wish that I could have participated in soccer. Like my dad said, he grew up coaching me there, and I really enjoyed that sport. It just kind of happened to get pushed to the back a little bit in my high school career, but I tried.
And GCGR was pretty solid this year. They could have used another midfielder.
I know. Yeah, they had a really good year.
I wish people would have gotten the opportunity to see him. He was a phenomenal soccer player.
Let's move to golf. Freshman year, state champion, 63-68. You set the state record with an 11 under. You win the state tournament by 11 strokes. It's just maybe the greatest freshman debut in Iowa golf history. What happened that day or those 2 days?
Just being a freshman, I think, kind of worked in my benefit there. Just trying to do as best I could for the team. I knew that like the year before, everyone was really disappointed in their state performance there. Obviously, Coach Dirks has set a really good standard of success, that we go to the state tournament basically every year and we're expected to finish really high. So that year I was just trying to, like I said, just trying to do my best. I was recently moved from like the 3 spot being a freshman to the number 1 spot on the team. So I was obviously playing against a bunch of other really good players from other schools and just taking it one shot at a time. I think a little bit of my tournament history and just the experience that I've had in Iowa PGA Junior League and WJGA, things like that, just worked to my benefit too a little bit. And just going out there and playing with no fear. Like I said, I think just being a freshman and kind of almost not knowing how big the moment was kind of played into my favor. And then it wasn't even until probably the middle of the back 9 where I kind of realized that first day what was kind of going on. And you start like thinking about it, and that's kind of when it goes bad. So I just, the next shot, and super, super grateful to obviously start my high school career like that. But just to do that for the team and kind of get us another state championship in golf was just, it was so fun to be able to talk about the round after or both rounds, and then share that post-game meal after winning the state championship with the team, and just all that I'm super grateful for.
Sophomore year finished tied for 5th, but that's the year that day 2 was rained out and not played. And Denny Dirks tells me to this day, you guys would have won state that year as well had there been a day 2.
Yeah, that's kind of one of my worst moments of like memories of high school golf. Really unfortunate finish to the day 1. I know some of the guys even coming down 18 didn't play very well. I was one of those guys. And we knew actually going into that tournament that the second day's weather, just the forecast wasn't great. So you don't worry about the second day until it comes anyway. So we were all trying to play our best, obviously. And to not finish that first day and then to have that second day cut short was just so devastating for the whole team. I know for me, even this last year, first day didn't go that well. Was just really looking forward to having another opportunity to go out there and compete. And I think the whole team really loved the position that we were in. Obviously, we would probably rather be leading, but to be right up there in the mix and just fighting for that state championship down to every last stroke was an opportunity that we were cut short of, and that was really unfortunate.
Last year, I followed you the entire round, state runner-up. But it's one of the most, it's maybe the time I've seen you the most disappointed in your high school career, because the putter got a little loose a couple times, and you look like a golfer who thought this was my meet to win and I didn't win it.
Yeah, similar to most years, really. That first day didn't go so well for me. I knew that it was going to take a really good one the second day, but I've always been a guy that really tries to just think about his role on the team again. So I knew that we were down, I don't know how many after the first day as a team. It was going to take a good one for me to try to help put us back in contention to win. Was able to roll in a lot of putts that second day. Just had some unfortunate things happen down the stretch. Tried to play the smart route on the 16th hole and ended up putting it behind a tree and wasn't able to escape with a good score on that hole and bogeyed the 17th too. So yeah, it was really unfortunate, but even then I was most disappointed in the fact that I thought we had a chance in the team race if I kept playing well and wasn't able to do that coming down the stretch.
This year, state champion again. I know it probably hurts you a little bit that you didn't win the team title. Columbus Catholic got it again, but I know you know those guys so well. And the AP guys that were there, Benny Waller and all those kids that played there, you played against these same guys for 4 straight years, and they're all really good golfers. But to close your golf career with an individual state title, how'd that feel?
Really good. It feels like all the work that I put in, just even still sticking out track all 4 years of high school and not having it cost me in golf was really awesome. Like you said, unfortunate that we didn't win the team race, and still, no matter being a senior or whatever, it was still that same mindset. Just do as good as you can for the team. Was happy to hear. I'm always asking the coaches that I'm with, how we doing? It's never, how am I doing? And I sounded like after a couple holes of that second day, we were right back in it. And it was really just exciting to know that you're competing out there with your best friends that you practice with every day. Just the cherry on top to win it yourself. But credit to the Columbus Catholic and, like you said, Appleton Parkersburg and all the teams that we play with in our conference are always really good. So we know that helps push us throughout the year. And it was unfortunate not to get it done as a team there at the end, but I'm really grateful for all my 4 years of golf.
Last day of state golf, last round of your high school golf career, your tee time is about, 15 minutes away. And you are the only golfer on the putting green. And Dad walks over to check things out and give you some last minute tips. We'll talk about just that experience. Jason and Judd both, that his final round's about to start. He's on the putting green by himself, and you're over there just being a good confidence booster, a good person to lean on for a second before that round starts.
It started the night before. After his first round, we drove to Jessup. We had a baseball game to play. And I told him, hey, I'm going to try to stay away from you as much as possible here. We know you've got a big second day of golf coming up. And we get in the 5th inning, and it's a 3-2 ball game. And we're not in the position we want to be pitching wise, and certainly not score wise. And so I think I came in after the 5th and I told him, buddy, you better start getting suited up. And he ended up throwing a 2-inning save that night, getting loose and going and doing the job for us there. And so on the way home, just in order to get us home a little bit quicker, we rode home together. We didn't ride on the bus. And that whole ride home, we talked about the baseball game. And then we talked about day 2 of state golf. And we just tried to speak confidence and speak it into existence, and just went through day 1 and said, look how close you were. You roll in a few putts and you're right there. And we were just really trying to build each other up. I was trying to be as confident and positive as possible on that ride home and speak it into existence. And then the next day when I saw him on the putting green before he was about to tee off, I thought this is the perfect opportunity to just reinforce that. And I just said, go do what you do and turn it loose. And it's going to happen for you today. We know it is. And so just thankful to have that experience, thankful for you to catch it on film, and thankful that second day went the way that it did, because I felt like with everything that he had given to the game and to the school and to the sport, that he deserved that, and he deserved that moment. And I'm glad that he went and captured it.
Judd, what was it like for you? You got Dad on the putting green for you, and you're 10 or 15 minutes away from teeing off the last round of your high school career.
Yeah, that first round, definitely on the greens, wasn't my best performance. So tried to spend a little extra time there, just a little more focus before that second round. I was just full of excitement. Wasn't even really thinking about the fact that it was my last round of high school golf. Just excited to go out there and just play better, let the results take care of themselves, but just leave it all out there. Was fortunate to have a really good start to that round, and especially with the putter, maybe that extra time on the practice green really paid off. But just like my dad talked about, having that confident mindset and just trying to speak it into existence a little bit. Just when you're flowing with confidence and you know that you're in the hunt there and you got nothing to really lose, you're just going to get it, really helped me, especially at the start of that round. I've played a bunch of golf rounds where I'm in the lead too, and I know that's not exactly easy when you start playing a little defensive and things don't go your way. And played plenty of tournament golf where the 2 days are going to be really different. sometimes the first day, if you don't have it on the greens, maybe the second day you do. And just to see even the long putt on the first hole go in, and just to know that this could be my day, it was just really awesome. And having Coach Miller with me for a lot of that round, just for some comfort, and then just speaking things through a little bit, strategy wise around the course, just to be able to execute shots and to finish it all like you want to, is just really awesome.
And if all that wasn't great enough, and it is, 2 weeks ago, you tied the course record at your home course in Grundy Center. I try to be at 30 through 6 holes. That's my target goal because I'm an average golfer. You shot a 30 for the whole 9 holes, 6 under. Where did that come from, or how'd that come about?
Funny enough, that was I want to say my second day back just playing golf. I took quite a bit of time off to give one last run of my senior baseball season and have real no excuses there. So came back and was actually playing just a really fun round with 2 of my friends, Jalen Kirkpatrick and then Evan Blythe, who's got a bright future ahead of him in high school golf, just to just go out and have fun. The course was pretty empty that day. Started actually like even par through 3 or something, and wasn't really thinking much of it, but finished really and just was out of nowhere. I think all of us really weren't even thinking about it until the 9th hole. And I've been close a couple of times, but it's never really happened. But yeah, definitely just out of nowhere, and was a surprise moment for all of us.
Also valedictorian of the class. I think you had 7 valedictorians this year?
7.
I mean, that's one of the things I talked to Dr. Liebel about, the superintendent, is your class, I believe, is the largest class in Grundy Center history. It's 76 kids.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
And historically, the class size is about where mine was, which is 54, 55. So you have these 76 kids who not only are multiple sport great athletes, but multiple extracurricular non-athletic things that Grundy Center has excelled in as well. You grew up with almost all these kids. Just talk about the excellence throughout your class.
Yeah, I think our class has kind of really follow the standard and even set a new standard in terms of just success in everything that we do. I think that's kind of just how Grundy Center rolls a little bit, is no matter if it's trying to get a Division I rating in the choir, to perform in a good musical, to winning the state championship. It's all just the standards of success. I know plenty of guys that you're never going to hear about in the newspaper or whatever, but are leading the robotics team or the drum line, and just all the extracurricular activities that everybody knows at a small school that you just participate in, and you're just kind of together, and just a group of friends that everybody has, and being able to get along in different groups and still succeed in whatever extracurricular activity you're doing is just super awesome to see and awesome to be a part of.
You're probably the greatest 5-sport athlete in Iowa history. Approximately how many total scholarship offers did you have?
I'm not really sure, honestly. Probably not as many as you would think, but
really, is it because you had your heart set on golf, or because you definitely could have gone to college athletically in any one of the 5 sports, and probably Division I in more than a couple of them? Is it because you had your heart set on golf? You told me that at the signing day, that golf was always the first thing, and that maybe lead to maybe not as many football or basketball or baseball offers?
Yeah, I think as an athlete in the recruiting process, I was probably a little confusing to a lot of coaches, just not sure what I was going to do. I think that maybe led to a little hesitation in reaching out. I think especially once I knew that golf was something that I wanted to do, we probably didn't recruit myself as much as I could have in other sports, and that probably would have led to a few different opportunities. But ever since really the COVID time period in junior high, when I started playing golf basically every day, was one of the only things that I could do with my friends, was when I realized that golf is a little bit different than some of the other sports, maybe less physical, a little more mental, but just something that I really enjoyed doing and that I could see myself doing past high school. And after it's all said and done here in my high school career, I think that I did make the right choice in golf, but also knew what I wanted and was a little more picky.
Jason, you told me once that you wouldn't mind seeing Judd be a multi-sport athlete in college, but then Stanford comes calling, and that's a whole different level of schools that typically recruit small class Iowa.
Yeah, with the success that he's had, and as a parent, somewhat selfishly, it's hard to think about this experience at the Shrine Bowl like being the last time he'll have a football uniform on, or all these lasts we've experienced. He is just such a talent that, as a parent, of course, it's tough to think about moving on from some of those things. And we talked about baseball and soccer and all the rest. That part of it is difficult to set aside, but you're right. When you get an opportunity like the one that presented itself at Stanford, that certainly sets itself apart. We're very thankful for that opportunity. We're excited about where it's going to take Judd, all the exciting places and experiences he's going to have and see, and the people that he's going to get to meet. We're excited to be a part of that. We're excited about that opportunity for him. And so that definitely did set itself apart. And yeah, it's not going to be too long here. We're going to have him on an airplane. It's interesting. One of the first experiences that he'll have, Stanford gets to do an international trip every 4 years, and this year happens to be it. So he'll be out there mid-August, and then within a week be on a plane with his teammates to Ireland. So how much fun is that?
Judd, Stanford, the school of Tiger Woods, the school of Tom Watson, a school that is known for golf, to be recruited by them, to be signed by them, to be going there for college. That's, you could dream as big as you want to dream, but that's really up there.
Yeah, I think that's exactly how I took it too. I think they were one of the first ones to really contact me. Coach Ray has a connection to, I think, one of the family members in Fort Dodge, maybe, that was able to keep track of me after my freshman year of state golf and put me on their radar a little bit. Definitely, like, getting that text message was something that was just super surreal. I'm not sure even how long it would last or if it were to get to this level that it is right now. But just for them to take a chance on a multi-sport kind of athlete like me, see the potential that I have in the sport of golf, just something that I'm hoping to prove to them that it's going to pay off. I think when you think about all the guys that have been there before, you just know that I'm going to get such a high level of coaching and just all my exposure to different golf courses, just the care that I'm going to get in general there, plus the education is just going to be a once in a lifetime experience for sure.
I heard a story from earlier this year, I want to say, that you were going out there for a visit to play golf, and it was the day after a basketball game, so you showed up a day late, and the other golfers, who by and large do nothing but golf 365 days a year, were wondering why you were a day late. You said, I had a basketball game, and they were stunned by the fact that you actually played other sports. Is that true?
Yeah, the first time I was out there, I want to say it was one of the first days in 2025, maybe, was in the middle of our coming back from Christmas break. So we had a basketball game, was able to go out there and connect with them on the end of one of their youth kids camps. It's all the way up through high school age kids, was able to show up for the last day and play in their like 18-hole tournament that kind of just ends the week. And talking with those guys, or got on the plane in snow and a foot of just terrible weather, and got off the plane, and it was probably 50, 60 degrees. And some of the people there were complaining that was a little chilly. And I was just like, not quite from back where I just came from. And yeah, I think they were a little bit surprised that I was currently in the middle of a different season. And that was a little bit of a weird experience and vulnerable position to be in the middle of basketball season in the middle of winter in Iowa and go out and try to shoot a good golf score. But was super grateful just to be out there. It was the first taste of that area, the first interaction in person with the coaching staff and all the people out there. So wouldn't change that opportunity at all.
Palo Alto, San Francisco, not anything like Grundy Center, Iowa, in any way, shape, or form. Is there going to be a little bit of a shock when you go out there to live full time?
Yeah, it's going to be a little different for sure. I think that no matter where I went, really, it would probably be a little bit different. Going to be an adjustment just to the college life, no matter where I went. I'm not complaining at all with nice weather, basically all year round, looking to utilize that to just get as good at golf as I can, really. Yeah, there's probably going to be some things that are normal there that aren't normal here in Iowa that I'm going to have to get used to. But like I said, I think that would happen basically no matter where I went, and I'm excited for the change a little bit.
I do want to ask you guys about this because I think it's a very important part of why you're both so humble. And every time I've talked to Judd, he's just been so kind and humble. Is faith is very strong in your family. and it's kind of the backbone of everything you do. And honestly, when I'm around town and talk to people, your generation, your class, the class before you, class after you, I'm thinking about guys like Emerson Vokes and some other people. You guys have brought faith back into athletics a little bit. And in this kind of small town environment, that's extremely important. Can you just talk to me about your faith and how it works in your endeavors?
Yeah, I think similar to everyone doing everything in Grundy Center, we got a really good group of kids at Friends First every Wednesday night. A lot of people that attend Sunday church regularly. I think that with the combination of that and kind of the restart of our Fellowship of Christian Athletes group, me and Emerson Vokes, like you mentioned, and Eleni Oswagon and Shayna Vokes actually have led that a little bit. Sunday night gatherings. Just the more time that you spend in the Word, you're able to incorporate it throughout your life and even through athletics. Like you mentioned, Emerson, I think he does a really good job. And I even look up to him a little bit in the ways that he incorporates his faith in his running. I think that that's something that nobody really ever wanted to hide, but we're just finding ways to be bold in our faith and not hide and show it out, no matter if we're in church or on an athletic field.
Jason, I think that's a perfect statement. Is this group of students and athletes are bold in their faith. It's something that we hadn't seen probably since Christianity had a big boom in the late 70s into the 80s. So this group of kids and the families obviously come from being bold in their faith and all the things they do. How big is that for you?
It's big. I appreciate you asking the question and having the opportunity to talk about it. I think there's just a number of points that I could hit on there, but you're right. It starts with the families in Grundy Center, just really solid people that set faith as a foundation for themselves and for their kids, and that kind of flows through. Judd and his class have been exceptional in that way and being bold in their faith, but just like they've mentioned or he's mentioned for other sports, the example's been set before them. I think that you started to see some of that in a couple of the classes ahead of them, and certainly Tate's group, reestablishing FCA, just giving time during the busy weeks on Wednesdays for Bible study and getting together and understanding how to incorporate the importance of their faith in athletics, in the other things that they're doing, other extracurriculars in school, and even just in their school day. It's been humbling to see. It's been humbling to be a part of. I'm so proud of the kids for being bold in their faith. And you follow high school sports, Chad. I know you follow sports around the country, around the world, but certainly in the country, it feels like there's a resurgence in this area. You've seen it in college sports and even in professional sports. You've heard recently Ohio State, as they won the football national championship, talk about the importance of faith to their team. And so I think it's actually really exciting for me. I think there's a generational countrywide thing going on here. And I hope that kids continue to feel bold in their faith and continue to speak out about it and let it be a part of what they're doing. And I'm excited to turn back on TV and see athletes talking about the importance of their faith and giving thanks to Jesus along the way. So I'm happy to be some small part of it, really proud of these kids and the way that they're demonstrating it through what they're doing.
Guys, I appreciate your time. I know I've kept you on here a long time, and I will leave you with this, though. I've been asked a number of times over the past, couple of months, just by other coaches, are there any more Jirovskys coming up? And I've had to say, oh, yes, there he is. And Trinity's pretty good. I think Gus is going to be pretty good, too. Some other schools that you're used to playing are a little bit worried about the future still. Guys, I appreciate your time so much. And I know we're going to connect again tomorrow on some stuff, Judd. But thanks so much, guys. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, take care. This was the Chad Harberts Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And we will see you again next week. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.